Hey guys, it's your boy Slosh Tugs, and today we're going to be doing NBA Power Rankings heading into next season. The off season's pretty much over, and I think we gotta get this figured out before the season starts. So first up is Celtics. Next up, you can just put a random team. Let's just put the Kings. Okay. Next up, let's go Sixers. Sixers are... Look, I got Celtics number 1, first and foremost. But Sixers are better than the Kings. Now let's go Bucks. I think I gotta go Bucks above the Sixers. Even though I think Paul George, I think it's a good fit in Philadelphia, but you shouldn't count out the Bucks. Next up, Bulls. Bulls are definitely the lowest so far. They're gonna be really bad. Cavaliers. I think the Cavs are good, but they have just kept disappointing in the playoffs, and I don't know if I can trust them anymore. And for that, gotta go below the Kings. Normally I'm pretty high on the Cavs, but okay, I think they're better than the Kings. I think the Kings are a little bit kind of overrated. I don't know how DeMar is gonna fit in with their their fast-paced offense, which has a lot of three-point shooting and stuff. And I don't think he can really fit in. Next up is Clippers. Clippers, they don't have Paul George anymore, so I think they'll be kind of bad. I think the Kings are better, but they'll be okay. But they might blow it up or something. Next up is Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies will be pretty good. I gotta put them above the above the Cavs. Next up is the Hawks. I expect the Hawks to be pretty bad. They might trade Trae Young, and yeah, I don't really have high hopes for them. I guess I'll put them. Honestly, I think they'll be better than the Clippers. Which is kind of crazy, considering that the Clippers were good. But yeah, I think just with Harden and just with Kawhi, I don't think they'll. I mean, I don't know. They might be okay. I don't know. We'll see. Next up is Heat. Heat are good. I'll put them above the Kings. But they aren't really improving. And I could definitely see the Kings being worse. I mean, being better than the Heat. Next is the Hornets. I think the Hornets will be better than the Bulls. Just because I think that Brandon Miller, I just think if they're healthy, they're better than the Bulls at this point without DeMar. And they just traded for Giddey. Next up is the Jazz. The Jazz are the quintessential like 11th or like 12th seed in the West. But yeah, they're better than the Hornets and the Bulls, but they're not as good as the Clippers. Next up is the Knicks. I think the Knicks will be quite good. I think they'll be better than the Sixers. But will they be better than the Bucks? I expect them. I expect them to be better than the Bucks, just because their depth, and I think Chris Middleton isn't really good anymore. But they might have a hard time guarding Giannis without Hartenstein. I guess they do have Mitchell Robinson, so yeah. Knicks at 2. Next up is the Lakers. I think the Lakers are pretty bad. I think they're the 7th seed last year. I think maybe not, but they have the talent to be decent. But I'm still thinking that I don't know. I might regret this, but I think, in a regular season, Grizzlies will definitely have like a higher record. But in a playoff series, I got the Lakers beating the Grizzlies. So I'll put the Lakers at 5. Which seems a little bit high, but I don't know. Magic are up next. Magic were good last year. I think they'll only get better. I'm sure they drafted someone. I don't know who. But I think the Magic are better than the Heat nowadays. Which is kind of crazy, really. I don't know. I kind of want to play it safe and put the Heat above the Magic. But I don't know. I'll keep the Magic higher at 8. Next up is the Mavericks. They made the finals. I think that they're good. I think Luka is the second best player in the league, but he's gonna win MVP this year. And I expect the Mavericks to be good. I'm thinking either 3 or 4. And I gotta go. They added Clay, and they're looking good. And honestly, I don't know. Are they better than the Bucks? Yeah, I think they're better than the Bucks now, which is pretty wild. I do think the Knicks are kind of better. Yeah, I think the Knicks are better than the Mavericks. Next up is the Brooklyn Nets. I think they're really bad. I'll put them at 15. I mean, they just. Actually, I think the Hornets are better. Just because, like, I mean, Cam Thomas, he's probably gonna average like 25, but like he's just gonna be chucking shots. They're not contending at all, and they should probably just trade Claxton if the offer is right. But yeah, traded Bridges. I think they'll just be really bad. Next up is the Nuggets. I gotta put the Nuggets at 2. They're still the best team in the West, and they have the best player in the league. Next up is the Pacers. Pacers are very good now, but I gotta put them. I mean, the question is, are the Pacers better than the 76ers? And I don't think they are yet. I mean, 76ers could rock the league next year. I wouldn't be surprised. Next up is the Pelicans. They recently got DeJounte Murray for a bag of chips. And they're kind of in that perpetual, like, 6 seed area. But they're good. But I don't know. They're not great. But they're good. I'm gonna put them. I put them. Thinking. Okay, I think the Grizzlies. I don't know. The Grizzlies might be. The Grizzlies are probably better than the Pelicans. I'm expecting a regression from CJ McCollum. I'm gonna put them at 10. I don't know. I'm thinking. I don't know. I really just don't know what to think about the Cavs, but they just keep disappointing me, and I can't. I could see the Cavs being as high as like 7, but that's just not the world we live in. The Cavs just disappoint every year. Next up is the Pistons. They got Tobias Harris on $26 million a year. I think Jalen Duren's really good. I think Cade's good. But they're still just terrible. But I don't know. Are they better than the Hornets? I kind of think they are better than the Hornets, to be honest. I mean, I remember like 2 years ago, I thought the Pistons were gonna be like the 8th seed randomly. I don't know why. And they were like 15th seed. Like I don't know. I think the Pistons could throw some wins together. Actually, I don't know. I think the Hornets probably better than the Pistons. I think the Hornets could be somewhat competent next year. Next up is Raptors. think the Raptors are pretty good, but they're not great. I gotta put them in between the Kings and Hawks. I feel like Hawks might be way too high, but we'll see. Only time will tell, guys. Next up is Rockets. Rockets were good last year. I expect them to be better this year, but they were really like overrated last year. I mean, they missed the playoffs for a reason. No, they missed the play-in. But I think they'll be good. I mean, they got a good roster. So I'll put them here at 15. Next is Spurs. Spurs should be pretty decent next year. But, I mean, with Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama, that could be buckets. And I still think they're pretty low. I'm gonna put them. I don't know. I think the biggest wild card here is the Clippers, and if they'll be terrible or if they'll be like decent. But I'll just play it. I'll put the Spurs below the Clippers. I think if I make one mistake in this power ranking, it'll be the Clippers being too low. But like, yeah, they don't even have Paul George anymore. I feel like they might trade Kawhi, and Harden needs some talent around him nowadays. But who knows? I could see them being the 8th seed, but I could also see them being the like 13th seed. It kind of just depends. Next up is the Suns. They have Tyus Jones now, which is a pretty good pickup. I think they'll be pretty good. I think they're underrated now, just because of the getting swept. You know, if they didn't have Bradley Beal, they would actually be good. But gotta put them like I don't know. I'm thinking. I mean, I think they're better than the Pelicans, to be honest. Actually, no. Below the Pelicans. Put them at 11. Next up is the Thunder. I think the Thunder will be great next year with Alex Caruso and Hartenstein. And they're really just building an incredible roster. I gotta put them. I kind of want to put them like 3rd. I mean, they were the 1 seed. Yeah, I'm gonna put them 3rd. Next up is the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves are overrated. I think Anthony Edwards is also overrated. I think they're kind of just frauds. They got lucky, you know. But they are definitely still one of the better teams. And I'll put them. Okay, they're definitely better than the Pacers. They're better. I'd say they're better than the Sixers, just because of Embiid's inconsistency. Are they better than the Bucks? I I mean, Dame, Dame is on a downward spiral. Chris Middleton is on the bottom of a downward spiral. So I gotta put the Timberwolves higher than the Bucks. Next up is the Trail Blazers. I think I don't know. I feel like they're getting underrated just because they're always in these comparisons with the worst teams in the league. And I don't think that's very fair. I think there's actually a lot of I'm a Blazers fan, and I think there's actually a lot of talent on this team. But we're definitely going to intentionally tank towards the end of the season to try to get a high pick in this draft, which is supposedly good. So, factoring that in, I think, okay, if we just played as hardest as we could all season long and didn't start, tanking at the end of the season, I could see the Blazers being, better than the Clippers. I could see them being better than the Hawks. And I could even see them maybe being better than the Raptors. But considering that we're going to tank towards the end of the season, I assume, and the West is super stacked, I gotta go with, I gotta go above the Jazz, but below the Spurs. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta go 23. But like I said, if we wanted to, I think we could be as high as 19. And in 2 or 3 years, we will be around, top top 8, top 7, top 10. Next up is the Warriors. They got Buddy Hield, which I think that's just he's way better than Clay. Significantly better than Clay. I think Kuminga he's okay. He's kind of overrated, but he's pretty good. And then Draymond, still a great defender. And they got Trace Jackson Davis, who he's proven himself to be a starting center. A little bit below average, but he can play a little bit. I think the Warriors, they'll be okay. But they aren't great anymore. Kind of thinking lower. I'm thinking around, I think without Clay, it'll just be kind of weird around the locker room, So I'm thinking it's hard to put them so low, but weren't they I know they missed the playoffs. They were the 10 seed or something. So, yeah, honestly, I think the Rockets I think they'll be better than them. Actually, no, you know what? I'm putting them at 18. No, I'm putting them at 17, okay? I think the Warriors beat the Kings. I think in a way the Kings got worse by adding DeMar. But I don't know, the Kings could surprise me. I got the Warriors at 17. But I could see them as being as high as 14. And then the final team is the Wizards. Wizards are, I mean, they got Malcolm Brogdon. They got Jonas Valanciunas for some reason. And I'm pretty sure he signed a 2-year, like, $20 million contract. Which is weird. I feel like he could easily get, like, 19, or, like, get, like, 20 mil a year on, like, a good team. So I don't know why he did that. But they'll probably trade Kuzma. They'll probably trade Brogdon. And this team is just not serious. I mean, I have no problem putting them at the last spot. So yeah, this is my ranking. I feel good about it. So it goes Celtics, Nuggets, Thunder, Knicks, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Bucks, Sixers, Pacers, Lakers, Grizzlies, Pelicans, Suns, Cavs, Magic, Heat, Warriors, Kings, Rockets, Raptors, Hawks, Clippers, Spurs, Trailblazers, Jazz, Hornets, Pistons, Nets, Bulls, and Wizards.